Good evening, everybody. We'll call the regular meeting of November 10, 2009 to order, please. Please join us in the pledge. Ready to begin?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. I'll do this evening, Joan. Instead of doing our regular invocation, I'd just like to take a moment of silence, please, in recognition of the soldiers that were killed at Fort Hood earlier this week. Please, a moment of silence. Thank you. Be seated. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Kelly. Present. Davis.
Present.
Candia.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Martina.
Present.
Mayor Kate.
Present. Item 5, declaration of conflicts of interest. See none, we'll move to item 6, ceremonial matters. Don't think we have any this evening. Item 7, items from the public, non-agenda items. Any member of the public wish to address the council, a non-agenda item? See none, move to item 8, consent calendar. A's, waive all readings of ordinances and resolutions except by title. B, approval of the warrants. We'll be adding a warrant this evening that was left out for some reason, got left, not added to the warrants. B, a warrant to RRM Designs in the amount of $25,009.48. So if you add that to your warrant list, please. And item C, approval of the minutes of the October 27, 2009 regular meeting.
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent calendar as is, in addition to the, added on to the warrants.
I'll second that motion.
The motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 9, public hearings. There aren't any. But item 10, regular business. A is adopt resolution number 2009, next to number, authorizing Ed Caton as mayor and Michael Holland as city clerk to record a notice of completion for the Wastewater Effluent Storage Basin Expansion Project.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. The item for you tonight is to consider adopting a resolution for the to file a notice of completion for the wastewater treatment plant effluent storage basin expansion project. This project was included in our wastewater master plan. It's been in front of you a few times, giving you updates and such. It was to expand the existing storage basin project, storage basin in order to meet the state's requirement for the 100-year flood requirements. This project was previously brought to you on May 26, 2009 to award the contract to Ramina Construction. They have completed it. They sent us a letter dating September 24th that they have completed the project. Our consultant engineer has approved that. We have a letter in the file regarding that. There were a total of 2 change orders for this project. One change order was for some increased road work and levee work with the road basin for that of about $9,493.01. And the second change order was to extend some additional piping out into the existing levee due to some silt buildup in it, so that we could get the water from the existing levee into the existing pond into the new pond. That one was for $9,506.15. The total for this project came out to original bid of $595,000. With the change orders included, we had $613,999.16 for the total project cost. This project was funded with an iBank loan, which is being repaid out of the sewer fund. Therefore, it is our recommendation that the city council authorize the filing of the Ed Mayor's
As written?
authorize the mayor and the city manager to file a notice of completion for this project. I'm sorry about that.
No problem. Anybody have any questions for Garner? If there are no questions, council for direction.
I so move for approval and adoption of resolution 2009, next number, authorizing Ed Caton as mayor and Michael Holland as city clerk to record a notice of completion for the wastewater effluent storage base expansion project.
I second.
The motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item B is adopt resolution number 2009, next to number, authorizing the city manager or his representative to sign all documents, assurances, and statements for the CMAQ application for the preliminary engineering for traffic signalization at the intersection of Highway 33, also known as N Street and Inyo Street.
Good evening again. The item for you tonight is to authorize the city to put in for a CMAQ application for potential traffic signal at Highway 33 in Inyo. The CMAQ program, Newman is authorized to receive approximately $100,000 in target funds. We want to take these target funds and apply them towards the engineering for this project to move it forward. Currently, in the general plan, this intersection is identified as a level of service of D. The goal of the general plan is to have at least a level of service of C or better. Therefore, it is recommended that this project be moved forward for the target fund so we could do the engineering to determine, one, if it still meets the warrants for the signal, and two, to authorize an additional study and the preliminary engineering to move this project forward. The total amount of the CMAQ target funds allocated for Newman for fiscal year 11-12 is $100,000. There is a local match that is required in the amount of $11,470. The total budget for this project is $111,470,000. Therefore, staff is recommending for City Council to authorize staff to submit an application to Stancock for CMAQ target funds and adopt the resolution to authorizing city manager or his representative to sign all documents, insurances, and statements for the application for the preliminary engineering phase of the traffic signal at the intersection of State Highway 33 and Inyo.
Any questions? Seeing none, council direction.
Make a motion that we adopt resolution number 2009, authorizing the city manager or his representative to sign all documents, assurances, and statements for the CMAQ application for the preliminary engineering for traffic signalization at the intersection of Highway 33, N Street, and Inyo Avenue.
The motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item C is adopt resolution number 2009, next to number, awarding the bid for aeration basin number 2, sludge removal to Environmental Techniques International for the amount of $85,000 for year 1, with an option to extend for up to 2 years, and with a total not to exceed a price of $206,400. Lance?
Good evening, Mayor, council members. I'm here to present item 10C, the award bid for the City of Newman Wastewater Treatment Plant aeration basin number 2 sludge removal to Environmental Techniques International. We have aeration basin number 2 at the wastewater treatment plant. It's been in operation for 30 years and has accumulated over 5 feet of sludge. And this has severely hindered our ability to be able to treat the water and to keep the dissolved oxygen levels to meet our necessary permit limits. And so in order to remedy this problem, we looked into a couple different options. One is dredging, but it's highly expensive, and we have to take the pond completely offline while we're dredging, and we're not really set up to do that. So we looked into another option, and that's treating the sludge with bacteria. And it's bacteria that's specifically designed to eat away the sludge. It takes some time, but we have the time, so. It's a lot more cost effective, and the biggest thing too is we can keep the pond online, through the entire process. So it's still in operation and everything. So with that, we advertised the request for proposals for 2 weeks, and we opened the proposals and read them on October 16th. We did receive one, and that was from Environmental Techniques International, and that was for a total cost of $206,400. I reviewed the proposal and found all the forms to be in proper order. Now, the estimated time frame is about 2 years. That it should take for the entire project. This RFP is valid for 1 year for $85,000, and then we have the option to renew upon satisfactory performance if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. One thing to note is that this is a performance-based proposal, which means that we only pay for the amount of sludge that's actually removed. We're not buying the bacteria. They're supplying all the bacteria, and then we'll do a sludge judge, which is a measurement of the sludge, and then just pay on what sludge is removed. So, if their product doesn't work, then we don't pay. So it's a pretty good deal for us. So this all comes out of the sewer fund. Nothing comes out of the general fund. And so for 09-10, we've already budgeted $85,000, and then upon approval, we'll budget for subsequent years. So in conclusion, we advertised and received RFPs for the aeration basin number 2 sludge removal. Environmental Techniques have been determined to be the only responsible proposal, and therefore we recommend to the City Council to award the proposal to Environmental Techniques for the bid amount of $85,000 for this fiscal year, with the option to extend upon satisfactory performance. And this is with a total not to exceed price of $206,400. So that think that concludes my presentation. If there's any questions.
Questions of Lance?
Just one. Lance, I'm just curious, you know, in the economy of today, how come only one company responded?
Well, we wrote a pretty tight set of specs.
Gotcha.
And, you know, because I knew what can be done out there and I knew what I wanted. And
Yep.
I knew by writing the specs it might weed out some. But the company that did bid on it is a really good, reputable company. I've dealt with them in the past, and I feel really comfortable with them. So, but I did know by writing the tight specs that
You
kinda
knew that
weeds
would
them out,
eliminate a lot
yeah.
of them. Oh, good.
I was hoping to get more than one, but I'm happy with this one.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Council direction?
I make a motion that we adopt resolution 2009, next number, awarding the bid for aeration basin number 2 sludge removal to Environmental Techniques International for $85,000 for year 1, with an option to expand for up to 2 years, and with a total not to exceed price of $206,400.
I second it.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thanks.
Item
Thanks,
D, thanks, Lance. Request by Newman Chamber of Commerce. Go ahead, Mike. I was just gonna, I know, Michael, you're gonna address this. I asked the city manager to put this on the calendar for council consideration. When I heard that the chamber may not have the tree lighting ceremony, based on the fact that we had changed the insurance limitations from $1 million to $3 million in the downtown area. I just felt it was extremely important that we address it. I think the last thing we want is to have our chamber not have their annual tree lighting ceremony. I think it's beneficial to the community, and I didn't want to see this event go away. So I asked Michael to put it on the agenda for council consideration, and he will address it from here.
Thank you, Mayor. These new standards for downtown events really originated in 2006. We were starting to get a few more requests for groups to hold downtown events last year. Around that time, I think you can recall there was a Cinco de Mayo type festival downtown, and as more and more of those requests, at least inquiries started coming in, the council figured it was a good time to also start setting some standards for what those need to be. In addition to that, our staff had gone to a transfer of risk workshop with these types of downtown events in there. And again, the ultimate goal is to limit the liability that the city and the exposure that the city has from these types of events. So again, these standards were adopted by the City Council in October of 2006. Earlier this year, as you can see in my package, I did have conversations with the chamber regarding this, and just advise them, don't forget we have new standards in place that govern a lot of this. Also, during that time frame when we were talking, we still weren't exactly sure where we were with the plaza. The original goal was to break ground around September or October, and we weren't real sure where that Christmas tree was going to be able to be placed, because currently, it is in the parking lot. Anyways, through the conversation, and you can see in the May letter, the chamber had some discussions amongst their board, and ultimately decided that it wasn't financially feasible for them to host the event this year. Well, I think, and they'll speak to a little bit more, I think as we get closer, things always change, and the sentiment always changes as you start getting closer to the holiday season. So they've definitely had a reconsideration of the event. And I know they talked to the mayor, and so the mayor asked that I put this on here, and part of what we're asking tonight is, in the written request that's been submitted to you, is to reduce the liability insurance from $3 million to $1 million on that. So with that, I can answer any questions that you may have regarding this issue. I know there are members of the chamber here that would like to address you with respect to this issue.
Any questions of Michael from the council first? Okay. Just like I say, personally, I think as a city and as council, we need to do whatever we can to support the chamber, and I wouldn't be opposed. I don't know, Tom, legally, if we can. It's a chamber versus when other organizations come to us and ask us for the same in session. I guess would be my only issue. Since it's a chamber, I tend to lean, whatever we can do to help them make sure this event gets pulled off, I'd like us to do that. But then again, my concern is,
Well, it's really just, as Michael pointed out, our risk management folks have recommended that we go from it was $1 million forever, and now they've recommended we go up to 3, and I think every place that I represent, I don't know if we've contacted them about an exception or not in this case.
Well, the event host needs to provide the $3 million or $1 million,
Right.
depending on, unless that's an additional insurer on that. So.
But they want us to get the $3 million
Correct.
from the other folks and have us name as an additional insured. That's the preference. Now, if something happens, that doesn't mean it won't cover us, but if it's over $1 million, and not likely in this case, but that's you always get the conservative advice from them, and then I want to give you that conservative advice too, because heaven forbid something happens.
In a worst case scenario, I think if I'm hearing what the city attorney is saying, in a worst case scenario, and we all pray and hope that nothing happens, but in a worst case scenario, we are exposed.
If
Right.
it's anything over $1 million would be on us.
Correct. So.
any other questions by council?
No, the only thing I'd say, the comment I'd make was that, we're a small town, and the chamber coming in and having that kind of money, I don't think is realistic. I think the 1 million is more in line with what would be acceptable. And it's my understanding that they already have the 1 million in place. And to me, it seems like that would be adequate to cover this function.
And-
If I could just add again to that, tree lighting is different from, I know one of the other cities I represent, they have hay rides and various things, and then I would have more concern than I would for this one.
And this event is so well attended, and I think it's a major event in our community in December. And if we can, I'm not sure if we can just assure the chamber that we're not going to raise that. Can we keep it at $1 million? For the chamber for this event, for the tree lighting ceremony, we're keeping $1 million coverage that they already have.
Are we establishing a precedent then, Tom?
Well, that's
what I'm-
always
that's
the
what we're
practical
asking. Yeah.
downside to it too.
Yeah.
Next group comes
and
in.
that-
We're just as worthy as the chamber.
And see, my feeling is it's our chamber of commerce who represents all of our business district, all of our business people in downtown, versus somebody from the outside decide they want to have some kind of festival in our downtown area, where it's going to require us to close down our streets and
And you have the discretion to make that distinction.
Oh, all
I think
right.
we do.
That's easy.
You just, again, potentially if something happens, you're on the hook for anything over $1 million.
Well, in my opinion, this event should be a chamber and a city joint venture, in my opinion. That's just strictly my opinion. I don't know if that's legal, or Tom, you'll have to help me out there.
No, that would be.
So
We could maybe see if we could be a co-sponsor, and then maybe the RMA would cover us in excess of $1 million.
We would have to. Couple things here that I would just like to address very quick. One, definitely like to have the chamber come up and really kind of talk about the scale of event that they're proposing this year. I think that's appropriate for us to hear. The larger the event gets, the more activities and booths and other activities that are involved, obviously increases exposure to us. So, one, definitely like to hear their plans for the year.
I think
Two,
go ahead,
oh,
Michael.
I'm sorry, Mayor.
Go ahead.
Two, we don't cover this type of liability insurance. So if you're asking for us to co-sponsor, we have to actually go out and purchase special event liability insurance. Just, we're not covered. Our RMA does not cover that. This is something entirely different. So that's something that we would have to go out and measure. And then three, I think in my recommendation, I would recommend we do this on a year by year type basis instead of just saying now and into the future it's $1 million. Things always change. We should do it on a case by case basis each and every year. It's not. We can schedule this type of event and they can come in and make their presentation. And if things went off well, hey, we're more than willing to do it, talk about the scale of the event again, and, this council's always been friendly to our chamber, so really it's not that big of a deal to kind of move it forward and continue to do that. I would recommend we do it on an annual basis as opposed to just giving a carte blanche out into the future. It also ties future hands of future councils as well.
The only thing I don't like about that, Michael, is this is something supposed to be an annual event. And I think the chamber's hands are tied when we say they're gonna have to come back every year to get approval. I have a concern with that they want to make it an annual thing, and I think we're very fortunate that these good people are out there trying to help this community, excuse me. And not only that, the city is involved in this. It's not, I know the chamber does the Christmas tree lighting, and that's their thing, but we're deeply involved already.
Well, we're involved to the extent that we're setting up the Christmas tree. We help out with public safety. We block off streets. We provide some staffing level. That's the extent of our involvement. So, then again, I'm only, as a staff, it's my job to provide you both sides of the thing, and that's all I'm trying to do. It's just trying to say is we are assuming some liability and some risk, and I'm only trying to inform the council of that. And that's all I'm trying to do at this time.
And I think that the scale of the event this year is going to be somewhat smaller than it had been previously, because more because of limitations of them being able to plan, because they came into this assuming they were not going to do it because of the insurance. And so probably at this late stage, they're going to be able to pull something together. And I know I've been contacted by a couple of groups already that I've referred to Phyllis. I'm not sure if they gotten hold of you yet, but if somebody would like to, from the chamber, like to address the council, please do. Mary, go ahead.
May I ask a question before the chamber?
Could you come up, Mary, real quick?
Mary Moore, President of the Newman Historical Society, 1442 Q Street, Newman. You're talking about liability. Has anybody filed a complaint against the city getting hurt at this event?
I don't think they have, Mary, and we hope that it doesn't happen, but it could be that one time, and that's the thought of the same matter. He's trying to protect the city's interests, which
Right.
that's his job, and so he has to advise us, and this council has to be the one to make that decision whether,
Well, I thought maybe the city council should know if people had complained, had gotten hurt, that they should know it up front. If that way they could say, well, we don't want to take that liability on. But I know when we rent a hall down at Louis Newman Center, we have to have $1 million life insurance also for the city building.
Right.
And we've had it for years, so that does. But I just thought maybe if someone had already filed a complaint.
Yeah, I
No
think
claims
what
been
Mike-
filed, to my knowledge, has it, Michael?
Not
You
to
got
my
any-
knowledge.
yeah.
Well, I think
It's pretty low key.
Yeah, Michael's trying to protect our buns.
Right.
And, this year, like last year, that was fantastic. I had a wonderful time there, and I think everyone did. It was cold it was cold. I remember that too. But in the future, they might bring in, like you said, hay rides and stuff like that somebody could fall off, and all of a sudden we're liable. And so we've got to, and I agree with you, Mike, that we should do it every year just to see exactly what the events are going to be. So just to cover our own self. But
Someone from the chamber want to address the council?
thanks, Mary.
Vicki, Phyllis, somebody?
I'm going to let Vicki, she's newly elected for
Okay.
next year.
I'm sure she can handle it.
Vicki Lucas. In the events that Phyllis has put together, some of the ideas was pony rides, Santa to show up to pass out candy canes, the cornerstone dancers, as we had last year, the Aztec dancers, which we had last year, fire truck rides from 2 to 4. Okay. Band carols, a concert from. Okay. And raffle for the 2 bikes. We are not doing the booths this year. We have asked some of the merchants downtown to open their stores and their restaurants and do a tree lighting menu. So what we're trying to do is promote downtown business with this and kind of get away from the booths a little bit. I would like to see, though, maybe next year in the booth, bringing it back in, the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, and those civic, lack of a better term, organizations to partake. But due to the limited time that we've had, this is kind of generically what we put together. So there will be no booths, so we won't have any lighting issues off of the trees and blowing circuits and such. So,
Vicky, I'm sorry. Did we discuss a date?
December 5th.
That's
It's the
okay.
first Saturday, which is, the event has always been held, to my understanding,
First
is the
Saturday.
first Saturday.
Okay, just to clarify that. And then
Is it a
one-
Friday? Dave?
Friday. It's Friday. No, Mixer's the 3rd, which is Thursday.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
5th is a Saturday.
Yeah.
First Saturday of December.
yeah. So we're looking at a time frame from 2 to 4.
2 to 4 for the plane rides and the fire truck rides, and then from 6 to 8 for the actual event, with the Christmas tree lighting and mayor being there at 7:30.
So anyway, as representing the chamber, we would like to partner with the city of Newman and keep this relationship open and communicated. And so we hope that, you will help support what has been a tradition here in Newman. I'm new to the area, but I think it's important that we continue to do this tree lighting, as it is all the different events we do throughout this year with the city, in the city. So, any questions?
Any questions of Vicky? Okay, bring back to council for some consideration and direction.
Thank you.
What's your pleasure?
Well, I'll make a motion that we grant the request of the Chamber of Commerce and reduce the liability to $1 million from the city's 3.
I second that.
Then a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, thank you. Thanks so much.
Mayor, if I
Yes,
may
sir.
just may add, so we will need the chamber to start working with staff immediately, specifically our police department and our public works department. Road closures, if we're talking road closure, barricades, where you plan to put the ponies. There's a lot of different things that need to be worked out that we just encourage you to, our offices are closed tomorrow for the holiday, but just, get in touch with our staff as soon as you can, so we can just start working out the particulars and making sure that we're providing you the services that you need to help this event go safely for all of our residents.
We were waiting for tonight.
Sure.
before we made any
Great.
further. Now, basically, we have a whole checklist of things that we know that we have to do, and we got to a certain part as far as confirming partially that the dancers will be there if it gets approved, Santa will be there if it gets approved, this type of thing, but we didn't want to take it any further until it actually got approved, and then we will be contacting the people. I've already talked to the chief about barricades, but again said I can't do anything until we know for a fact that it's been.
I suggest then on Thursday, first thing, you guys get on it and domini and get it rolling.
Sure. And then,
Okay.
Hope to see all of you out there, Saturday the 5th.
and then just to, again, touch bases with the chief so he can put you with a point of contact in his department, and then also with our public works director, Garner Reynolds, and he can work with you on the public works side and make sure you're completely covered. Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
And if you want to leave, now's the time to do it. We're going to move on. If you want to stay, you're more than welcome to stay.
I'm gonna stay.
Very good. Stay. Okay, we'll move to item E.
Michael, can I ask one question?
Reed is
Yes.
leaving?
I'm sorry.
We're gonna put a Christmas tree in that plaza at some point.
That is part of the overall, the plan.
It's
Yes.
gonna go- I
A
just,
permanent Christmas tree.
I don't know, I have a problem with this because I see the city involved and there's gotta be some way that we're participating in this. I don't care if it's financial or what, we should be participating because this is something they're doing for Newman. It's not like Castina's Newman.
Well, and
I'm
I,
just saying,
what I will say is, we are participating. We're providing public safety staff there free of charge. We're providing barricades free of charge. We're providing our public works staff free of charge. We are participating as part of that. where I'm just asking is liability is probably where there needs to be a line that gets drawn, and I think liability is one of those areas that you really want to limit your exposure.
I understand that, but what I said earlier too, that I think, with a small town like Newman, the premium for 3 million versus 1 million is too much to ask, I think, for a lot of these small clubs. And we're going to drive them out of town.
Drive them to Gustine.
Take them. I'm just saying I have this concern.
Well, in Michael's defense,
Mayor, can I say?
part of this council, I guess I was here then. You were here then.
Yeah, but there was
Been
a,
here a long time.
So at one point in time, you approved that increase.
Yeah. I'm not, and
Yeah.
and there was a reason for it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah. So I guess my question was, can we, as a council, especially in terms of the chamber, can we as a council pick and choose? That was the only issue I had. Okay, it's $1 million for you, it's $3 million for you, type of thing. That was my only concern, because it's probably going to happen. And so I was going to fall on what I think is a safe side. Well, it's the chamber who is comprised of all of our local businesses. Whether or not they all participate is another question, but I mean, for the most part, and if you go to Chamber Mixers, the group has grown. So there are more and more people. I think that's what I would like as a council to try to encourage that all these businesses take part in this, and not only just for this event, but the mixers and other things that goes on that Chamber puts on. So.
Would it be possible, Tom, to and poor, who's going to have, poor staff's probably going to get the assignment, but to break it into events, Ed, with, where we have, really base it on liability. What's happening there? Yeah, what's happening? Well, we're going to drink in and we're going to do this, and blah, blah, blah. Well, our liability is going to be definitely expanded there. But in something like this, where people are it's a wonderful time.
Well, probably the hardest thing to drink that night is apple cider.
Exactly. Oh, it's a wonderful time, but there's not the exposure that we would have in, like the fall festival, where you have people drinking and things like that, and having a good time too. But this is a different event.
We can try and do that and get the premium price, because it is, as Michael said, it's going to be cost us extra money because it's not under our general coverage. So, I mean, we can try and piece that together. I don't know if they'll have any guidelines for us.
Well, at least for this year, we'll go by what we just
what we did.
dealt with, and then
Yeah.
maybe something we can look as the year goes on.
Yep.
To next year.
I mean, obviously, there's a difference between lighting the tree and the pony rides. So that's
Exactly.
the thing that we'll have
Exactly.
Right, right.
And
try and figure
fire
out.
engine rides.
Yeah.
Phyllis?
There's a couple things I'd like to point out. First off, it's actually a city event, because if you weren't having a Christmas tree downtown and you weren't turning the lights on, the chamber wouldn't be having an event. So that's where we're saying we feel like we should partnership up with the city because of the fact it's a combined effort. But secondly, when they gave us a quote for the liability insurance, it was $750 to, I think, $900, somewhere depending on whether or not we were going to serve alcohol and that type of thing. Then on top of that, each event person or chairperson or coordinator, whoever, they have to pay for the food booths. If you have food booths downtown, the people can go to the health department and pick up their permit, but they don't have to pay for the permit. The person or the organization putting on the event has to pay for. And that's why we went in the hole last year, because unbeknownst to us, which we've never done before, we get a bill for over $400 that we knew nothing about. So that dipped into a till that we weren't prepared to do. So there's some, and you can't charge an organization like the Band Boosters, you can't charge them $50 to cover our charge when they're doing it as a fundraiser. So we charge them $25. That gives them a little bit of play to make some money. But if we charge them $50, we probably wouldn't have anybody doing it.
Yeah. Well, I think what you heard tonight, though, Phyllis, is I think this council is committed to making sure that this type of event is carried on.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Okay. We'll move to item E, is adopt resolution number 2009, next to number, setting the maximum rates for solid waste collection services and authorizing the city manager to initiate Proposition 218 proceedings.
Thank you, Mayor. As you are aware, Berlotti Disposal Incorporated, we contract with them for solid waste disposal services, and currently our rates for service have remained unchanged since 1998, and so it's time that we go ahead and increase those rates because operational costs, fuel costs, tipping fees at the county have all subsequently been increased. We looked at two different ways of doing it, but we think and CPI is the most fair way, and Consumer Price Index, inflationary, and we took the lowest, which is a non-food and energy Consumer Price Index, which is the lowest of them. If you were to say, starting in 1998, and you put 1633 at the table as your rate, and then increase accordingly based on CPI for the corresponding year from 1999 to 2008, that would increase our rates to $21.11, which is a 29 and a quarter, if you will, percent increase. And so one other way that we looked at was trying to, again, knowing that we are in a very tough economy, we were able to talk to Berlotti's and get them to consider providing a break for our residents and giving them 3 years additional of no increases at the beginning of the service. So therefore, using 2000 as a base year and not increasing it until 2001, and then using CPI accordingly, that would raise our 90-gallon rate from $16.33 to $19.46, which is a $3.13 increase for a 90-gallon service with your curbside recycling as well, and that's a 19.15% increase. Again, so we're part of what has occurred, and you've seen this a number of times with our water and sewer rates, is you don't build in the appropriate inflationary factors into the program, and so you've seen jumps that had to transpire there. So again, in working with Berlotti, we were able to get them to concede that a 1946 rate maximum, and it's an increase of $19.15% or a $3 increase. Correspondingly, the 19.15 would be across the board. There are people who have a 60-gallon rate or a 60-gallon container. Their current rate is $11.15. That would go up to $13.29, which is a $2.14 increase. Additionally, I believe, and Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, we have walk-up service for people who are disabled and all the like, and there are discounted fees for people. So we would, again, just use the 19.15 and increase all the rates accordingly. So, in speaking with our city attorney, garbage fees are not subject to a Prop 218 proceeding, the provisions of Prop 218, like water and sewer. But in an effort as an educational and to try to be as transparent as possible, we would recommend that we go through that process as a protest vote. We would put the attached notice that I've provided in your package. We would put that in our next utility billing that goes out. We anticipate it's going to be mailed on the 23rd or 24th of November. Most people would probably get that on the 27th or 28th of November. They would then have at least a minimum of 45 days to review it. And then on February 9th of 2010, we would hold a public hearing here. People who wanted to protest could come out and protest that. And then the city council would then count those and tally those votes and make the appropriate decision at that point in time. What we're asking you right now is just to set the maximum rate and start the proceedings. your ultimate decision does not occur until February of 2010. With that, I can answer any questions that you may have right now. And then let me just back up 1 second. Because we've gone through this Prop 218 process before, and before we used an outside consultant called NBS. They also do our landscape and lighting districts. We're a little bit more comfortable with it this time, so we'll be doing a lot of this in-house. And speaking with our commercial provider who does our billing for us, we can do the insert for like 5 cents. Is it like 5? Yeah, it's about $450 to mail out 3,000 notices. So, with that, I'll entertain any questions that you have.
Questions, Michael?
Mike, so bottom line, like a 90-gallon, you're talking between $36 and $40 increase over the year?
No. If you have a 90-gallon,
Okay.
your current fee is $16.33.
Oh, okay.
Your new fee will be $19.46. It's a $3
Right,
and 16-cent increase
a month.
a month.
So you're talking close to $40 over the year.
Oh, over a year. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah, over a year. Yeah,
Yeah. And
you
the
said
others,
40, and
yeah.
my brain's thinking in
'Cause
terms of
trying
month.
I'm trying to think how
Yeah.
how I think. I don't know how most people think, but that's the way I do it. What's it going to cost me over the year? But,
I'm on a monthly basis.
No,
I
no.
apologize.
Yeah.
Yes.
But, so, is there any possibility, I know you're doing everything you can to not, because as you said, this time in our economy, the way things are going, people, we're just hitting them again. Is there any way we could, say, do half in 2010 and another half in 2011? I mean, or is that going to cost us a ton of money just to do it that way?
Well, we can go back to Berlotti's and discuss that with them.
And I
We have to get our
apologize.
noticing, but we have to get our noticing done.
Yeah.
So if we're going to go back and do that, we'll have to not initiate proceedings now, and then ultimately initiate proceedings in December, and then it just gets pushed back 1 month.
Yeah. That's just my thought, and I apologize because I know you guys put a lot of work into this, but even $40, I think, to a lot of people, that's a ton of money.
Don't say 40.
Well,
And
no,
the
I
reason
know,
I'm
but-
saying that is
Yeah.
because when you're saying 40,
Yeah.
people are going to think in terms of a month. They're going to pay $40 a month. It's not
Oh, no,
$40
no,
a month.
no.
Please.
Okay, I don't mean that.
refrain
Okay,
from
in
using
the $3.
$19.46 from $16.33, because I don't want misinformation to get out there that we're trying to raise it from $16 to $40.
No,
That's
no.
not what we're trying to do. It's
Gotcha.
from $16.33 to $19.46, which is $3.13.
So it's $3.13 more cents a month.
Yes, correct. That's,
Good.
That's the better.
Good.
one.
And that's-
Wouldn't be big enough.
Huh?
Yeah.
The
Be-
chamber would be too small.
all of a sudden, the word gets out. It's
Oh,
$40.
God, yes, yeah.
They're not going to come to the chamber. They're probably going to come to my house and hang me there.
Michael, do we know what the current tipping fees are out there?
I do not know what the current tipping fees
A
are.
little over $1 a
But
week.
Berlai's saying that, due to, fuel costs, increase, maintenance, and tipping fees,
Correct.
I'm assuming those tipping fees have gone up for them.
Yes, the count. I don't know, Jim. When do you do that on an annual basis? Raise your tipping fees on an annual basis at the county?
On an annual basis, I believe they're around $35 a ton right now. We can't make money on a landfill, so when it starts costing us more than it's coming in, then we'll raise it up just enough to cover our cost. We make nothing, just like you don't make nothing on the sewer system,
Right.
we make nothing on the landfill. If we're looking for the waste energy plant, it would be higher yet.
Okay, any other questions?
Michael.
Yes, I have a question. You were talking about two different size containers. Do people have an option which size container they get and paying the same price for it? Or does somebody else decide which size container you're going to have?
You can come in and request the smaller container. If you're signing up for service, I think you're automatically fitted with the 90. But if you're, you know, either single, living there by yourself, or maybe just two people, or maybe you're senior, you can come in and request a 60-gallon, and they'll transfer that out, and you can get the lower rate and the lower size container. So just contact City Hall if that's something that you're interested in.
Michael, is there any upcharge for recycling, or is this solid waste only?
No, this includes
recycling.
Correct, correct. And also, part of our negotiations, it will allow us to upgrade our street sweeping, which is currently only one time a month, to twice a month, because we're working out percentage differences on there. So the $3 increase will also get you an extra street sweeping a month. So currently we do our residential streets monthly. We're going to go to bi-weekly. Every 2 weeks, your street will be swept as well, because we're telling them that your trucks are coming in, they're leaving dirt and trash and the like in there, so therefore you need to give us a percentage of your fee and apply that to street sweeping.
Good, yeah.
So
Good.
Any other questions? If not, council direction.
I make a motion, we authorize the city manager to initiate Proposition 218 proceedings for solid waste collection services. And authorizing it to initiate the proposition. I read the wrong thing.
also setting the maximum rates.
Maximum rates, please.
Okay, you've heard a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Go to item F. It's adopt resolution number 2009, next to number approving the terms of an agreement for purchase and sale of easement.
Thank you, Mayor. What you have before you again, as a mayor, I'd say, it's actually chairman and members of the redevelopment agency. This is a redevelopment agency item today. We're working with the owners of the St. George Hotel right now to secure the last easement necessary to begin construction on the plaza. And what this allows us to do is, if you've ever been out there, and if you can, take yourself there right now and imagine on the south side, you see a white line between the parking lot and the building. That's a property line. So, but what we want to do is extend the plaza out to the building, and then in the back, not the fenced area, but between the fenced area and where the alley's at, there's a big open area, to extend the plaza out into that area as well. So what we're asking for is an easement for public use and improvement to extend the plaza onto that area. And that would allow us to do the improvements on there. And then what it does is it actually, if we don't have that easement, it really crimps down and puts a very awkward line of delineation. And by getting this easement, it really opens it up a little bit better. In addition to that, what you're seeing on there, and let me refer back to, I talked a little bit about it in my staff report, but one of the exhibits is an agreement granting license for restaurant purposes. As you've seen in larger cities, because we have a restaurant there, what we're would ultimately do with this first part is grant a 5-year agreement that allows them to operate the restaurant on a portion of that plaza that's on their property. Now, the restaurant has to be taken down on a daily basis. They have to maintain and repair the restaurant area that's on the plaza. They're responsible for it. They assume all the liability. Has to be a removable fence. Again, the restaurant can only operate between the hours of 11 a.m. and 10 p.m. Also, there's no outdoor music can be provided by the restaurant in that particular area. So what we try to do is put some controls on that. And again, as you can see here on each, licensee maintains liability insurance in the amount of $3 million. So they have to provide the $3 million insurance on there as well for the time they are operating. In reality, what you're probably going to see is maybe on Friday nights and all day Saturday and all day Sunday, they'll probably put up a small little nice temporary fence just to kind of delineate, okay, we're going to use this as a restaurant area. Some portable tables and chairs will come out. and then people have a dining opportunity out on the plaza as part of this. So with that, there is a fee that's involved in this. We're proposing that we pay them $10,000 for this easement. And again, this is our easement. They can, once it becomes ours, it's ours. It doesn't revert back to them, even under a change of ownership, they cannot. So in essence, we're kind of taking control of that area, and we control the uses on there. So going back one step, if I may, with the restaurant license agreement, if they're not operating under the parameters that we set for them, we can revoke that. It is a 5-year agreement. It has to be renewed every 5 years. If the current operators sell to somebody else and they're not compliant with the city, then we do not have to continue that 5-year agreement. We do it on a 5-year basis just because that's a nice set. That's only a time to make the investment to get in there. But if they can't operate in accordance with our standards, we can revoke that at any time as well. So give them an opportunity to have a nice feature that a lot of nice communities have, where you see outdoor dining on sidewalks or on plazas and that type of thing. So with that, I can answer any questions that you may have right now regarding this issue.
This agreement is renewed every 5 years, you said. So is that $10,000 every 5 years?
No, it's a one-time fee only.
Okay.
We're buying the easement.
Okay.
The license is completely separate.
Okay.
The operator restaurant is completely separate. So we're purchasing the easement, so therefore we control that portion of the property. We give them an agreement to operate a restaurant on that part of the property, as long as they're, again, operating within the parameters set by the city.
Michael, there was some talk at one time about them wanting to change their zoning, their use permit from a restaurant bar to a nightclub.
Mm-hmm.
Even though that has not come to fruition at this point in time, would that change anything if they?
The Planning Commission has already approved that,
Mm-hmm.
and to date we haven't had any problems with them. Now, granted, this is for a restaurant only. You cannot operate a nightclub on our plaza facility.
Okay.
It's restaurant only, dining facility, no music, no nightclub.
So what happens with inside that business has nothing to do with.
That's correct. We're buying the easement that's outside. We're not
Okay.
taking any kind of control, liability, or anything else on the inside of the building. They can still operate a standard business as long as they're complying with state, federal, and local laws within the business. But we will control the outside portion of that.
Okay. Any other questions of Michael? Bring back council for direction.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution number 2009, approving the terms of an agreement for purchase and sale of easement.
There's motion. Second. There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. I'll go to item 11. Items from District 5 Supervisor Jim D. Martini.
Good evening, Mayor Caton, council members. I just have two things tonight. First of all, the West Side Healthcare Task Force will be meeting in Newman this time on December 3rd. Hopefully we have the room reserved.
It's already, yeah.
Great.
Keith knows.
At this time, we will be, should have the final drawings for the calendar that we're putting together from the schools, the lower grades, and the essay contest from the high school students. We have an intern working on that. I haven't seen them yet myself, but we have everything in place. Money donated from the print shop to pay for most of it. And so that's moving along about what we expected. We have to get the calendars out pretty soon. We had our last meeting in Gustine, which is a pretty good meeting. We had a presentation from of a nonprofit that deals with healthcare issues in rural areas. That was really informative. So we'll be looking forward to coming here on December 3rd. So we got a lot we can do here on the west side for improved healthcare for this area. The second item I'd just like to mention is the loan from the Economic Development Bank for the City of Newman. I have looked at the draft agenda item. I can't guarantee it, but I expect it to go before the board on November 24th, although I was not able to confirm that, so I don't show up the 24th unless you call me or you're scared Keith Boggs. County staff is going to be recommending that the loan go to the city of Newman and not to the city of Riverbank.
Thanks.
And there's a lot of fairness involved in there. First of all, the city of Riverbank's had 5 loans already. 2 of them they haven't paid back, and 2 of them they've only paid back partially. And Newman has only had 1 loan, a smaller loan too, and it's been paid back. The idea of the Economic Development Bank was to spread out projects throughout the county and not let one city dominate the loans, especially since the city of Riverbank has no real project and no money to match it. So this is a recommendation of the staff. I've worked with Keith Boggs for that. I believe it's for $450,000. That's what I think it was. But anyway, that will be the recommendation going before the board probably on the 24th. Probably the 24th. So.
Could you confirm that, or Michael confirm that, and we'll be there with our.
I've already been in touch with Keith, and once it's confirmed,
Thank you.
Forward that on.
I've seen the agenda item. It's already written.
Okay.
And so it's
just a matter of getting the calendar.
That's when I think that it's going. But I have no guarantee, but that will be the recommendation. I am sure of that. So anyway, suggest you show up there.
We'll be there, no doubt.
I think generally the board doesn't go against county staff recommendations. The Alliance, as you know, has voted to approve the loan for Riverbank. We don't agree. So this will be the first time that the staff recommendation from the county is different than the recommendation from the Alliance. So I think you're in a good position for this, but I'd recommend you show up just to be certain.
Well, we appreciate your support, Jim, and Michael and I met with Supervisor Kays and spent some time with him, and
Yeah,
Michael.
he told me
he laid out our case, and we happened to run into another supervisor in the hallway, so we took full advantage of that time as well. So.
Oh, okay. Well, good. Well, I think you've done your homework. I think we got everything lined up, and we have to be fair with the Economic Development Bank and what projects there are throughout the county. And Newman has not asked for much and has repaid the first loan of about $190,000 already. So, and you have a good project, and you've got matching money, and it's everything that we asked for in a loan.
Well, it was clearly unfair, and the way they went about it, and I wasn't there, but Michael was there, and he laid it out for me. And, obviously, politics came to play that day, and Michael clearly laid that out to the supervisor that he spoke with, and so we felt that we were wronged, and so hopefully the board will make it right, and we appreciate your support.
Well, I agree. Then the Alliance does not have the final say.
Yeah, thank God.
Okay, that's all I have for this evening.
Thank you, Jim.
Scratch that from the tape.
Appreciate that.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay, we'll go to item 12, items from city manager and staff. So, Michael, good lead in.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a reminder, if you look at our calendar, city offices are closed tomorrow. Tomorrow's Veterans Day. I want to thank all the veterans out there that allow us to continue to live in this wonderful country and be free. Second, our next meeting was originally scheduled for the 24th of November, based upon the proximity to Thanksgiving. That one's always been delayed or postponed or canceled, actually, and the council has chosen to do that this year again, so there will be no meeting on November 24th. We are currently scheduled, though, that would be Councilmember Kelly and Mayor Pro Tem Martina for 2-on-2, and that's next Monday the 16th. So, I'm gonna, unless you tell me otherwise, we're moving forward.
go.
We're moving forward that day. We did miss the last one, but we're good to go on that particular one. I do need the council concurrence on this particular item. Stanislaus County Local Task Force on Solid Waste Management, for which Councilmember Candia is our representative. His term expires at the end of this calendar year. Nick sure would like to sit on that
I'm
for
sure
another
he
3
would.
years.
I'm sure he would.
Lucky bum.
So with a general concurrence, we'll draft a letter that says that
I'm
he's.
solid on that.
You're solid. Okay, so
It was good.
so that's a good item. And then I think Councilmember Kelly, would you like to address the calendar issue? Would you like me the calendar issue, the request by the county for
Oh, you mean for the
funding?
for the health care? Yeah, I'll do
Yes.
that, Mike.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all that I have, and I just wanted to remind you of that one. And so.
I-
Thank you. Staff. Chief?
Good evening. Just one quick item. Just give you a heads up in case you're approached. We are entering into discussions with our tow operators for a franchise tow revenue sharing agreement, similar to what City of Modesto and City of Oakdale has as well. So that'll start happening here towards the end of November. So in case you're asking any questions, essentially. We don't have an ordinance at all in regards to managing the tow companies that tow cars on our behalf. So we need to regulate them to some degree, and also it's an opportunity to cover our cost to share in the revenue and the profits that they make as a result of the business that we provide for them. So we'll just be starting on that. We hope we'll wrap that up hopefully by the end of the year or early next year. That's it, unless you have any questions.
Any questions of the chief? Thank you.
Thank you.
Garner?
Good evening again. I just want to give you a quick update on a couple of projects we have. This is the Fresno Sidewalk project and Incidental storm drain project. This one's progressing pretty quickly. They're out there installing the curb and gutter, as you can see here. Next week, we hope to be installing the pavement so that we can wrap this project up and hopefully bring this back to council for wrap up here quickly. The weather's been very cooperative with us, so we've been able to progress really fast on that one. Michael, you hit the next slide. This is another view of them installing the curb. The sidewalk was installed previously, and then the curb and gutter. They're currently putting the handicap ramps in, and miscellaneous concrete, and the catch basins, and then the matching paving will come next week. Next slide. This is the Hill Park site. They're installing a drainage system into the park that will accommodate some future parking lots and drainage from the park itself. Go ahead, Michael. And this is the actual drain itself. We have a pipe inside of there. It's basically like a big leach line that's going to take the drainage for us and accommodate it, keep it away from the property owners, and keep it all on site so we won't have any future issues with that. The next phase are going to be coming in. They're going to be installing the concrete pad for the play area, and then they'll come in and start putting in the sprinkler system inside. So we're meeting weekly with them on the progress on this project, and it's moving along at a better clip than it was in the past. So, and one last thing I'd like to maybe give council a quick update on is the ARRA funding for the Plaza project. Our E76, they keep telling us it's waiting us. We just got a call today that they need an updated right-of-way certification. So we're getting that form to them, and then they'll issue our E76 as soon as they receive that. So my staff is typing that today. Hopefully on Thursday we'll send that up to them so they can then issue our E76 for our funding for that. And then I'm trying to arm wrestle a little bit more money out of the region for that funding, but we're doing what we can. Are there any questions?
Any questions, Garner?
Yeah, I've got one, two of them actually, Garner. Sure. The fence or the wall, when would that go in? Is that something that goes in later?
Currently what we're doing is we're putting a contract together to go out to bid for the 2 parking lots that we're going to put on each side of the park and the block wall. Okay. So that's on my desk right now. I have to finish the final draft of the contract to go out to bid for that part of the project, and then we'll be bringing that to council for direction.
Is that going to be a 6-foot or 8-foot wall?
We're going to have to bid for 2 alternatives. One's a 6-foot block wall, and the other one's a 7-foot block wall. You get much above 7, it does tend to get expensive per lineal foot on there. Yeah. So we're going to we want to kind of judge and see what the prices are and see how much money we have. We'll bring that to council to give us direction on that part.
Great.
And my other question was my favorite subject, Highway 33.
Yes, sir.
And I just have to love the fact that they come into our town and they mess up the highway and they mess up our lights and then they walk away. And you just wonder, I mean, how could anyone plan something like that and all of a sudden it turns sour? And
it's the state of California.
I don't know, but is there any way, I know they're probably not gonna be able to come back in and do any pavement because of the weather and everything else.
Correct.
But can they fix those lights? I mean, those lights, I mean, it's a waste of people's time to sit there for as long as they have to, and it's just, there's gotta be a better way. Even if they were blinking red, it would be better. I mean, I just, something has to be done there. I mean, I don't know if we have any clout, but we certainly should try.
I spent the last 2 weeks trying to get a response from their project manager. We sent numerous emails to him. I called his phone and his cell phone every day for 5 days in a row and didn't get any response. Called the contractor. He finally called me back and let me know that they're meeting on it. And so anyway, what it took was I had to go online to Caltrans, get their information, their phone number for headquarters. So I called all the way up to headquarters and sent an email before I finally got a response back. And now they have since come, they're calling me every day and giving me updates on it. The project manager finally is. Their public information officer with District 10, or Local Assistance District 10, is also calling me and emailing me, making sure everything's moving along. What they've come in and done just recently was they had a problem when they ground it. They cut the traffic loops and they didn't know that they were cut. So they had to come in and fix the splices. So they've done that. They shortened the time on the turn lanes a little bit to help move traffic a little bit. They're scheduled to come in on Tuesday to get the detector loops back working so that we can be back where we're at as far as the timing on the signals. That's the latest I have is next Tuesday is as soon as they can get in here to adjust the signals and put them back on the detector loops.
I think it's about 4.5 minutes sit there, and there's no cars coming either way.
No.
You sit there.
Yeah,
They should have changed that as of today to shorten the overall timing on between the turn lanes and the through traffic, so it should be less than that now. I think we're approaching around 3 or 3.5 minutes to help a little bit. Hopefully by Tuesday they'll be in here. I don't have really any jurisdiction in that area, but I am doing as much as I can to twist their arm. I was just happy to get a phone call back.
We can go back to when I came to this town, there was no lights.
And as far as the paving goes, it was the contractor's decision due to the unique paving they're going to put in. They're putting in a rubberized asphalt out of recycled material and asphalt combined to give a better surface to the project. It has some really tight restrictions and specifications on when and what kind of weather you can do that paving in. The contractor's really worried about it. So I was told by Caltrans that the contractor asked to delay the project till the temperatures got to be above 90 degrees, which that's going to be late spring, early summer.
Yeah.
And I can't twist their arm on this project. I tried once and it didn't work. So the best that...
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's
Maybe
when
they go out and run
cut
heaters
our
on the
lights,
road.
right?
Heat road up that way.
What?
Yeah, right.
Yes, good luck with Caltrans.
Yeah, good luck with
I was happy that they didn't block off, they agreed not to block off every intersection in the street when they do their project. That was scary enough. They wanted to completely block every intersection down the highway when they did their project. So they would basically cut us off east and west.
Yeah.
And, I sat out on the street and argued with them and asked them to come talk to our council about that. So, and ours was the only city they were proposing. I contacted Patterson, and Patterson said they didn't indicate that to them. So I did finally get a traffic control plan. I did finally get a hold of them. They're contacting me on a daily basis, except for furlough days, and let me know what the status is. And the contractor did send me an email today and guarantee me that they'd be out there on Tuesday to get the detector loops back working again. And then we're going to be sit there watching the detector loops. When they put them back on, there's no guarantee that the detector loops are right. So we want to sit there and watch them several cycles during the morning peak hour and probably the PM peak hour to see that we're not having any significant delays, and we can get them to adjust them as we need.
Are you telling me that we're going to have to wait till 90 degrees?
For the pavement, yes.
You know what that means?
I mean May or June.
May or June?
Yes. So we're in a holding pattern as far as the paving goes until then.
Any other questions, Garner? Thank you, sir. Stephanie, anything this evening? Nothing? Okay. We're not going to set a record, so you guys want to talk, go ahead. Dave, please do.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Dave Reed, also from the Chamber of Commerce. I was going to bring this up at the next meeting, but I forgot. I apologize for that you weren't having another meeting. But we're having a annual chamber mixer at the theater on December 3rd, which is a Thursday, and it's going to be a wine and cheese thing, and it's from basically 6 to 8, but it goes on a little longer. Yes, Vicki? 5. Okay, we're starting this one 5 to 8. Okay, and We,
I'll just bring you down there.
anything else that I forgot to mention about that? But anyway, we want everyone to attend, and it's a $10 a person, and that's all the cheese and all the wine, and all the sodas and all the water you can drink. So.
And all the funds from being raised for Toys for Tots.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a great time.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dave.
Dave, the Veterans Day thing, is there something, is it in Gustine or?
Yes, tomorrow, the Newman Gustine veterans are having it at the Veterans Hall in Gustine. The parade starts 11 o'clock, program immediately following, and which probably will be about an hour, and then Portuguese beans concocted by a very good Swiss gentleman, and bread. So everybody's welcome to come down. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's start. Ted.
First of all, thank you, Gardner, and especially Mike and his staff for getting that banner up. I know that you didn't do it, but you guys were helpful in getting it. The congratulations to the girls volleyball team that's now in the playoffs, and just another positive thing for Newman. And the other thing I have, Mr. Mayor, is each city that Jim was talking about, Supervisor DeMartini was talking about with the calendar. To support that calendar, the printing company, I guess, has donated a bunch of money to do it, but each city then is to donate $250. So I'm asking the council if we could come up with $250, our share of that amount, to help out with that calendar and get that going. So,
Do we have any money?
We have the community promotions.
How does council feel about that?
Sure.
That's great. Good idea.
We can give Ted's share to him.
give my share. Give my bonus.
But Ted already gave his share away. So
Okay. I'll give my share. Okay. Yeah, that'd be great.
No, that's going to be good.
Okay. Is that all?
Yes, thank you.
Roberto.
I don't have anything.
Nick?
Yeah, I just want to remind everybody that the big game is this Friday night. Gustine and the Newman game, the annual game for the chief, and it's in Gustine at the football field. 7 o'clock is hope everybody comes out and supports the guys, kids.
I'll be up at the annual game in Calaveras Friday night.
Gonna miss a good thing.
What's Vegas? What's the point spread?
I haven't seen that.
Bob, anything?
Nope. Just
Nothing?
to let you know, I'll be sitting right next to Nick, watching that game.
Great. Okay, I'll just have just a couple of things. On Thursday, Garner, Michael, and I will be traveling up to Sacramento to meet with the Corps of Engineers on the Orstema Creek project. Be the first time meeting with California Northern Railroad that they're going to be at that meeting, so we felt it's important that we be there and meet their honchos and try to keep this project moving along. So we'll be traveling to Sacramento on Thursday morning. John, are you going to that meeting as well? Yeah, it's the regular team meeting, but they've Michelle was able to get. Michael gave Michelle the information how to get a hold of the railroad. She did, and they've confirmed they will be there Thursday. This Thursday at the Corps of Engineers in Sacramento. And I'm not sure if Matt's going or not. We haven't heard, so.
Well, I don't think we know about it.
You do now. Yeah. I had some emails back and forth with Michelle and letting her know that as soon as she could let us know that the railroad would be there, that we want to make sure we were at that meeting. She emailed Michael and I and said that they will be there this Thursday. They've confirmed they will be there. So we're going to travel up Sacramento, Garner, Michael, and I. So you might want to let Matt know, or if you want to email him or somebody, let him know. I thought he was on the email. Yeah, I thought.
Normally, he would have said something to me about it.
Yeah.
What time is that supposed to be?
10 o'clock. But the railroad people are not going to be there till 11:30, Michael? So the regular team meeting will be at 10, so we'll do that business, and then the railroad people will be there 11:30. Yeah, they have two staff members from railroad that will be there. Let's see. Again, congratulations to the volleyball team. It's league champs. I guess they had a down to the wire match with Central, down to the last match. So that was great. And again, thank Supervisor for being on our corner on the funding. We appreciate that. And Michael and I did meet with Supervisor Chiesa and laid it out to him, and he was very understanding and willing to listen and asked a lot of important questions. Was going to talk with Keith Boggs, which I think he probably did. We happened to run into another supervisor in the hallway, and so we bent his ear as well. And
I tried to soften up the visit for
yeah, well, he did a good job because Vito was very, very understanding and seemed to agree with our case, and Michael laid it out for him. So we'll see how that goes. And again, Susan, we can confirm if it's going to be there on the 24th, we will be there.
I can't guarantee
Yeah.
the 24th.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure Michael will follow up on it, and so whenever that meeting is, Newman will be represented. Yeah. Let's see. I think that's it. I'm hosting the mayor's meeting on the 18th here in town, so the other 8 mayors will be here. I'd hoped to do our meeting in December because I really wanted to showcase our downtown area, but we had some kind of conflict, so I had to go back to November. So anyway, they will be here, and so with that, I don't think I have anything else. And motion to adjourn.
I motion that we adjourn for the evening.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night. Thank you.